All right, good morning, grade 4. So today is Thursday, June the 4th. We are on lesson 6 of our writer's workshop, so opinion writing. So you should have out your writer's notebook this morning. You should have out a pen to write with, a pencil to write with, a Flair pen, whatever you want to do. You have spent the last couple days doing the reasonings with Mrs. Trania, and we are going to back up a little bit to the beginning. We are going to write the introduction today. So a short little paragraph that's going to come at the beginning of your writing piece that's going to explain and also hook your reader. So remember, your reader, your audience is Mrs. Arps. That is who you're writing your opinion writing letter to. Okay, so when we are trying to hook her or try to get her to buy plants for the front, we want to have a sentence, an introductory sentence that kind of gets her attention. If we just say something to her like, you should buy flowers, yeah, she might say like, that's not so great, like what kind of flowers? And she might want a little bit more information. So what we're going to do, using the video that's also posted for today, that little video on introduction will help you a bit, but they encourage you to use a question at the beginning. The hook we're going to use as a question. So a question could be something like, have you ever, continue on, did you know that, continue on, do you, continue the sentence, would you, have you ever thought about? So you're going to fill in the remainder of that sentence as your hook, okay, your opening sentence. I will put those sentence starters, so do you, how would you know that? All of those kind of interesting question starters, they're called sentence starters. I'm going to put them also in this post so that you can refer back to them if you need some help. So the first thing you're going to do is write this hook sentence, okay? So opening your writer's notebook, you're going to have a page that just has introduction at the top, and I've written in a big black pen, so hopefully you can see this. My hook, and then we're going to do this part in just a second. So all I want you to do is write your hook sentence here. Start with one of the sentence starters I gave you. So one of the questions, so have you ever, did you know that, do you, would you, have you ever thought about? The example one that I gave you the other day in my lesson, she gave a hook that sounded like this. Have you ever wanted to go get flowers and stopped by some beautiful lilies? You might want to read this if you want to go back and get some. So she added on a sentence there too, but if you notice her hook sentence, one sentence, and it's a question, okay? You can pause the video if you want right now, write your hook sentence down in your booklet, or you can keep going and then come back to it after, okay? If you're continuing with me, the second part is something called a thesis statement. Big word for something that's, you've already done it if you have the reasonings. We're just going to put it into a full sentence. So a thesis statement over here tells us what you believe, and it can explain or sort of prove why. This is called, we call this the formula, the sentence formula. So you literally are going to fill in these blanks, okay, with your opinion. Okay, so whether you chose lilies or marigolds, because this word because has to be in your sentence, and then you're just going to list your 3 reasons. So here is an example of one. This is a completely different topic, but it has the same formula. Teachers are essential. That would go here. I hope we are. Because they teach students to read. That's the first reason. To write is the second reason, and how to create a thesis. So teachers are essential because they teach students to read, to write, and to write a thesis. And then this opinion writing would continue on here. Oh, I could hear that coming off. It would continue on here on this chart. So here's your hook sentence. I would write my thesis. Just like that, teachers are essential because I would use a comma in between each one of them. And then this is the part that surprisingly you already have done with Miss Trania in the last couple days. So if I take this down, you're going to have your reason 1, 2, and 3 done on here, or started with her on here. And next day when I come back, I'm going to show you the conclusion. So right now you kind of got the first bookend. You have the introduction now, you have kind of the middle piece, And at the very end, we're going to write the conclusion. So before I let you go, I'm just going to share with you, again, this student's work right here, because I think she has the thesis statement and the hook down pretty good. All right, so listen for the hook. Have you ever wanted to go get flowers and stop by for some beautiful lilies? You might want to read on and see if you want to go back and get them. Now she put here, I chose this beautiful flower because they can live for a long period of time. So she wrote that out here. And, sorry, her reason number 2. So because they can live for a long period of time, they attract wonderful butterflies, and they have very pretty pastel colors. So she literally filled in the blanks with the reasons she already had. So in your writer's notebook, if you were doing that, grade 4s, it would probably look something like this. Now I wrote big again and in the black ink so you could see it. That was my hook sentence. Have you ever wanted to go for flowers and stop by some beautiful lilies? The thesis statement, she wrote, this is her work, I chose the beautiful lily because, then she listed the first reason, okay? She didn't give all the details, she just listed the reason, okay? Comma, listed the next reason, comma, listed the last reason. That's all you're doing for today. That's your introduction. You have a hook sentence and another sentence that's your thesis statement, it's called. Big words there, but really it just means a sentence that kind of gets your reader understanding what you're going to tell them about. Okay, so again, just to recap, one hook here, use a sentence starter sheet if you need to. We're all going to do a question for this one. If you were at school with us, we would, as teachers, we'd be able to go around and help you to start a different type of sentence. If by any means you come up with something new and you're like, oh, I got a great hook for Mrs. Arts, use it. Okay, other than that, use the questions that we're giving you, the question starters, okay, just to make it easier. And then you're going to do the thesis statement, so you will have this little paragraph written that will look kind of like this. Again, remember mine looks kind of big because I wrote big so you could see it, but that's what your writing should look like about today, okay? Then you will add this back into your finished piece of writing with Miss Tarania. All right, thanks grade 4s, happy writing.